giving you an opportunity to get the full story from the people who tell it best. This is Mediacom Newsleaders.
Hi, I'm James Mauser. You know, it's always a pleasure to talk to our friends from the Missouri River Regional Library in Jefferson City. They've always got something good going on. Right now, there's a book read going on. That was announced back in June, and you should be reading this book. I'll tell you more about it in just a second. Claudia Cook, hi.
Hi, good to see you again, James.
Welcome back. Thank you. Library Director for the Missouri River Regional Library.
That's right. I'm in my 6th year now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this book that we're going to talk about, the 14th Annual Capital Read, that was announced back in June.
Back in June.
We started everybody could start reading this book.
Preparing for her visit on September 26th.
And that's Karen Piper. We'll talk about that in just a second. But my first question is, were you part of the committee that decided on the books?
Yes, absolutely. Madeline Matson, a librarian at the library, along with me. We just the two of us. It's just a committee of two, basically.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's kind of fun. So we chose this book together.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a great book.
I think so. I mean, we felt very strongly about the book, and that's why we chose it. We want a book with highly discussable themes and something with wide appeal, and we felt like we found that in this book.
Now, from the title, you wouldn't think that, you'd want kids to be reading this book, but you'll explain more in just a moment. Can I read the title?
Yes, and it is for adults, James. It is. It's an adult capital read, our community read. So. Yes, not for kids.
Not for kids. It's called A Girl's Guide to Missiles, Growing Up in America's Secret Desert by Karen Piper.
That's right. Right. And I have to admit, before I read this book, I didn't know about China Lake and this base in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and where they build weapons. And that's what her father did, and her mother also got a job at the base, and then she and her sister eventually worked there. They employed the whole family at one point in time. They were teenagers when she and her sister worked there, but her dad had been an engineer for Boeing in Seattle, and so there were job cuts, and he couldn't find a job, and after 6 months he took this job at China Lake. And so
the stories have got to be incredible then.
Yeah, and so, this kind of unknown place, shrouded in secrecy, and so they moved from, lush Seattle to the middle of the desert. So you can imagine the adjustment that the family had. And I learned a lot about the desert. I don't know a lot about it, and so just reading her book, she incorporates a lot of information about what it's like to live in the desert, and the, nature, the floods, things like that you don't even think about. And so anyway, the whole family moves to this base, and her dad starts working on the Sidewinder. I think a lot of people have heard of that missile, Vietnam-era Sidewinder missile. And so he's in charge of the accuracy of this missile, which was, which was, evidently not very accurate. And so there's a lot going on in this book about the Vietnam War era, about politics, about her, just her overall upbringing, her parents' relationship, leaving China Lake, going on to college and to graduate school, and then eventually ending up here in Columbia, Missouri.
Yes, Karen Piper is here at Mizzou.
She is, and she has been since the 90s.
So she's going to be reading or speaking about her book, right?
She is.
At the library on September 26th.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to meeting her. I have so many of my own questions. And I think she's going to be a really, really interesting and engaging speaker. And like I said, the book has so many things going on. There's so much to talk to her about.
Sure.
And so I'm interested to see how she approaches it.
So check out the book today.
You can, yes. We have lots of print copies. I think we have 10 print copies. We have 2 ebooks and a audiobook, as well as a downloadable audiobook.
So read the book and then meet her on September the 26th at 7 o'clock and ask her all your questions about the book.
That's right. That's our hope. That's the great thing about having a community read, is to encourage people to read a book and then get together and talk about it, and then actually get to speak to the author.
For more information on the website, mrrl.org.
Yes.
Again, that's on 7 o'clock at the Missouri River Regional Library. We have about 20 seconds left. What were you going to say?
Get this book, read it. You've got time, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. memoirs, I think, are great reads, and memoirs, biographies. So if you're not used to reading nonfiction, give it a shot.
Sure. And when you read the book, remember Claudia Cook was one of the ones who picked it up.
That's right. One of
Library
two.
from the Missouri River Regional Library. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, James.